Welcome, everybody, and especially if you are an expatriate mom, a corporate expat mom, or somebody who feels like you are burning out in your expatriate assignment. So the next few minutes are for you because I feel your pain. I've been there myself, and I know that the pressure on growing your career abroad, being a mom, so moving your family there for that assignment, it's a lot of pressure. And if you feel like it's turning sour, the pressure is even worse. And you have even like more difficult position because you're living abroad. So you have even less support around. And there's even more judgment on you from all sides. From the new culture where you are, because you're the foreigner. Like, what are you doing here? Why did not someone local get the job? And as well, you're getting the judgment from people who stayed back at home, because they don't always understand your choices. So all of your choices are being constantly criticized from everybody else who don't understand what you're going through. So I get this and I want to help. So if you are a corporate expatriate mom who feels like you might be burning out, and you might have read some of those signs of a burnout in my earlier post on LinkedIn, then I want to share with you three potential opportunities on how to get out of it and still turn it into something positive. So that even if you're feeling like this is going sour, it's not what I expected, the job is not what they promised, or you feel like you're constantly running in a treadmill and it's never-ending sprint, and you have no idea how to get out of there. There's like a dark cloud hanging all over your life. I want to help you get out of that dark cloud. So the following minutes are for you. Let's dive in. This was it, actually. This is what I already talked about. I love my notes. The first thing I want you to think about is that it's not the usual place where we go looking for help. And especially for a burnout, the first thing from a burnout coach would be, well, let's get things off your plate. And let's get better organized. If you think you need to be more effective and get things done in a smaller amount of time. The problem is, also from my experience, from the experience of my clients, even if you manage to find more me time for the self-care and all that, like classic great advice for moms, like just get more help and spend more time on self-care. Well, even if you do that and you manage to find more time on your schedule, the problem is that your schedule usually gets full anyways, right? At least that's true for me. Anytime I manage to free up more time, it suddenly magically that free time disappears because I managed to fill it up. So we will talk about that why later on. And by the way, if you have problems saying no and feeling guilty about it, and you don't understand like why the heck is it so hard to say no for other people to fill my plate, then tune in next week. We'll talk about that. But this is my challenge with the time management. Like, this is not what's going to help you out. It's not that you're not productive. You will always have a lot on your plate. And as a mom living abroad, like, you don't always have a chance or have a choice. Like, it's not that you can just leave everything behind and leave for 2 weeks of holidays without anybody and anything just to relax. So it's not time management. And it's also not an energy management either. Like, I love the principles. It helps, like, be focused on how your day is filled. And if you have enough time that make you feel great, and try to schedule them in between so that you still feel when you wake up in the morning and you think about your upcoming day, that there's still something you can look forward to. The problem I have with this one is that you cannot always plan and control your schedule. It's like my example earlier this week, Monday, Tuesday, my daughter was sick. So here goes my agenda. Here goes my 2 work days out of the window within a few minutes. So what do you do then? I cannot do my usual yoga and morning meditation to balance my energy and to feel great. So how do I not start freaking out and be stressed about that? So how do we do that? And this takes me to the point number 1. And that's my invitation for you to give it a try with mental fitness. Let me explain. The problem with the 2 previous methods that I mentioned is that they focus on the external world, your calendar, and what's happening outside of you. And you are not in control of that, especially if you're a working mom living abroad. Shit happens, excuse my language. Schools shut down, COVID, you're living abroad, you have no idea, even like all the other challenges, new work environment, people having completely different ways of working. You are not in control of that. The only thing you are in control of, your most powerful weapon, tool, strength, however you want to call it, is your mind. And not only because you're so smart, but because of how your brain, how your mind is structured. Unfortunately, for survival reasons, our brains are wired to notice the negative in a much more intense way than the positive sides of things. Like, of course, because we needed to focus on the dangers that might kill you or that are a threat in order to avoid them. So for survival reasons, this was a natural survival tactics or strategy. But what it does is that puts you in that vortex, because you know that emotions and thoughts are contagious. If you wake up in the morning thinking like, this is going to be another shit day, well, then the chances are that's what it will be, because that's what your mind is a like missile seeking, a target seeking missile. Like, it looks for the target. Whatever GPS location you give it, it will go out there and find it. So if you will tell it this is going to be a terrible day and I'm so tired just thinking about it, well, your mind, your brain will give you enough reasons to prove you right, because it likes being right and helps you feel right. And that's the challenge with it. That's why this ratio 3-1, for every negative thought that you manage to catch in your mind, for every negative voice that you hear in between your ears, you need to come up with 3 positive ones. And it's not about pretending that the world is all rosy and pinky and everything, no. But listen, I will share an example with you, okay? Have you been stuck in a traffic jam? Easy one, right? How do you usually react? There are people who start yelling, complaining, being really angry, nervous, stressed. You're going to miss your meeting. Of course, you have a full right to do that. However, how is that going to help you? How is that stressing out and being nervous and anxious? How is that going to help you? What is it going to do for you? It will make it even worse, right? And I know it's a natural reaction, but here the proposal is mental fitness. It's called fitness because it leverages the most important ability of your brain, which is neuroplasticity. You can rewire your brain in a way that it can be even seen after a few weeks. It can be seen on a scan. Like, you physically change how your brain fires in its different parts. Because the parts that keep you triggered and stressed and anxious, that's your survival brain. That's the amygdala hijack. You've heard so many TED Talks on it. I'm sure you're a smart, super smart person here I'm talking to. So you know all about that. What you need to do is to start rewiring your brain so that it goes from that hijack, it calms down, and it puts you back to that frontal lobe that is responsible for the wise decisions, for the wise choices that you don't regret. It's like having a fight and only afterwards realizing like, oh, shoot, I should have used this argument or that argument. Well, that knowledge was not accessible to you before because you were hijacked with your survival brain. Back to the traffic jam. What could you have done differently? Focus on what is positive. Like, for example, okay, well, it stopped raining, so at least my shoes won't get wet going like the rest of the path, like to my office or to my meeting. Maybe you find out that the reason for the accident was of the traffic jam was an accident, road accident. Well, I'm lucky I got out of it, and it's not me who's in the hospital now because of somebody else's mistake. That's not my car that's completely demolished. Like, this is great. And I know it sounds counterintuitive. It's not the usual way how, like, where your brain is wired. It would normally really go into like, oh, this is terrible, I'm late and I'm stuck in this, I cannot do anything about it. But what is it that you can do to feel better and focus on the things that matter, they're good? And it's fitness. It's called mental fitness because this is a habit you need to grow. And you need to start small with small steps. So as soon as you catch yourself being in your dark cloud of, oh, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, and oh, this is another thing that's bad, stop. Take a break and pause. Notice what's happening in your head. Notice you have a choice. And the challenge is for you to find out at least 3 things that you can focus on right now that are going well for you. No matter in which area of your life, of your day, of whatever is going on well, focus on that. That will automatically calm down your nervous system. You will have access again to your smart part of the brain, and you will be able to find or access smarter decisions. Okay. Now, let me go to the point number 3. And this is the black belt of mental fitness. Thank you, Shirzad Shamin, the founder of Positive Intelligence and Mental Fitness. This is the advanced level. So this should be actually, I shouldn't have called it 3 ways, but 3 steps, because you can probably start practicing this level once you get used to the first 2. Once you adopt the idea, like, okay, there's something in it that I like to try. Because this 3rd level is actually more advanced in a sense that it invites you to find a gift or an opportunity in this challenge. And I'd like to share my personal example of a burnout. So I think I got closer to it, or maybe it was a burnout already. 10 years ago, when I was in China, I was in my corporate expatriate assignment in Shanghai. Initially, it was supposed to be 2-3 years, but already after first few months, I was like, okay, this is not for me, please. I started screaming for help. I was there by myself. It was before I met my husband and had my daughter. I was there alone, which would be okay because I did already 2 other expat assignments by myself. I was fine. So I thought, I've got this. It's going to be fun. But China was a whole new set of challenges. There was everything wrong, as my brain loved to remind me. The job was not what they promised. Instead of having a supportive, like, mentoring boss, I suddenly had a micromanaging authoritarian lady boss who, I don't think she liked me very much. I definitely didn't appreciate her approach. She gave me like lots of administration instead of helping me grow into what the role was supposed to be really about. Plus, add on top all that cultural shock. Not only was I blonde and tall and standing out and people taking pictures everywhere, which was not comfortable. That's not the kind of attention you want when you're alone. But even fitting in, trying to find friends or trying to stay in touch with friends back home in Europe, there was 6-hour difference. Like, try to find somebody to talk to. It was very challenging. And my brain was reminding me of these things very often, making me feel like, oh, poor you, you're the victim. This was not supposed to be like that. This is not what we expected. How do we get out of this stuff? So only when I accepted the as is, like, okay, I don't think I want to stay here for 2-3 years. I think it's smarter to take that risk and just finish it here, because I would be a complete disaster after I'm done with this. I'm not going to learn here what I came here to learn. I started gaining weight because I was self-soothing and self-comforting with food. By the way, this is one of the things I want you to watch out for. If you start using any substances, including alcohol, not even talking about drugs or pills, but even food. I had a client who was using sex as a way not to feel pain and feel a little bit more like disconnect from the pain from the moment and get into another better place for a while. Watch out for all of these. These are all like signs that you need to stop and really revisit. Calm down your nervous system, access that place that gives you better options, wiser options that you won't regret it later. And how I got out of there is really like the gifts of my China experience, where getting to know myself even better, knowing what I want and what I do not want, what I'm not willing to accept in the future, what I need to watch out for. And it helped me connect with my purpose. I realized that it's not worth giving my life to a job. And I connected more into it how I want to be, like what I want my legacy to be, basically, one day when I'm gone, what I want my contribution to be to others. And maybe I would have got to these realizations later on, even without this burnout experience and feeling being pushed at the wall, not having a way out. But maybe I wouldn't. So I was interviewed for a podcast last week, and I got the question, like, if there's anything I would have changed about my life and how it went and all the experiences, good or bad. And I said, well, no. This was part of my life journey. And I believe that whatever you're going through, it's part of yours. I believe that your life is a perfectly written novel, and there is a reason for each chapter. There is a reason in all of the pain that you might be going through. So what is it? What is the wisdom you're getting out of it that will make it worth for you in the future? What is the strength that you're building as a result that will help you with even bigger challenges in the future? What is the creative opportunity for you to find some new solutions and new ways, new breakthroughs out of this bad thing happening to you? Okay. And I know it's tough. I know it's not like the easy cookie cutter advice you're usually getting, like ask for help, start saying no, take more time for yourself, da 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 da. But you already know all these. You don't need me to do to tell you that. We are going under the surface, and we are going on to the places that are not comfortable, but this is what is needed. Going to the root cause, rewire your brain, start using your brain for your advantage. It's such a smart super weapon. So start using it to work for you, not against you. All right. So credits to Shirzad. I already mentioned positive intelligence. This is what the mental fitness is about, and you will hear me talking about it more because I'm running courses, I'm running group programs on that. If you're interested in hearing more about that already now, feel free to get in touch. And I'm curious, what resonated with you? Which of these steps or anything that I shared today was an aha moment that gave you some important insights that you didn't realize before? Let me know. You can either comment here or you can share with me privately if you want it to be a private conversation, not for everybody to see. I understand. Here's my email address, Elena Gomez Rodriguez. And before we finish, I have one request for help, for connections, please. I'm organizing a corporate expat mom summit for the Mother's Day that's coming up in May, and I'm looking for speakers. So if there is an expatriate expert, coach, or somebody you'd like listening to for all things expat, if it's a podcaster, YouTuber, anybody who you subscribe to and you really love them, then let me know. Please share their contact with me. I'll be with you next week, Friday again, because we will make this a regular weekly thing. And next week, as I already mentioned, we will be talking about why is it so hard to say no and how to get better at it. So I hope that you enjoyed this session today. Let me know. Your feedback will make my day. And let me know also what topics you'd like to cover in the future if you'd like to share. Good. So I wish you a great weekend. Take care. Take care not to burn out. Start putting these things in practice, okay? Because one point before I let you go, knowledge, the information, is about 20% of getting it done. The experience, the follow through and taking action on it, on the knowledge that you gain, that's the 80%. That's the mental fitness. That's the thing that you have to do day in, day out to strengthen your muscles, get the result. Knowing how to lose weight and build muscle is different than actually going to the gym or turning on that YouTube video and doing your home workout every day. So start doing your mental workout, please. All right. Have a great weekend. See you next week. Bye.